Dr. Peter Agre, really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for sparing it for us. How was your meeting with the Prime Minister today, sir?
Well, last night I met with Prime Minister Modi. I was in a group of 5 individuals with interest in health, well-being, medical science, and it was a cordial meeting. Prime Minister was very polite, and we each explained where we're from, our institutions, and our work, and how India has played a role in the work. I direct the Malaria Research Institute at Johns Hopkins, and we have worked for the last 25 years, mostly in Africa, but it's a research enterprise, and I discussed this with Prime Minister Modi, who's very aware that malaria is still a problem in certain rural areas in India. Chhattisgarh, Orissa, West Bengal, and it's because of the population size of India, a small fraction of the population who gets sick turns out to be hundreds of thousands of people.
Yes.
And he was sympathetic and recognized that more work needs to be done, and then we discussed the importance of long-term funding as opposed to a short-term bolus of money, and then some years go by and there's no further funding.
Yes.
I think efforts like malaria are going to take long-term continuation of work that's now ongoing.
Okay, it's a truism to say, Dr. Agre, that if you do cure something or eliminate something from India, you make a contribution to the percentage across the globe because of the sheer numbers involved. What is your perspective, sir, in what we've already done when it comes to the fight against polio? India is now a polio-free country. We are currently in a fight against tuberculosis and other basic health. Our sex ratio has improved, our infant mortality, maternal mortality, these ratios are dramatically improving. Are we at some sort of health pivot point?
I think India has made remarkable gains. I first visited India when I was a 21-year-old student. That was back in 1970. And I toured most of the country, backpack, and I got to see the real India. And of course, coming back to India now, it's very different. You have the world's largest democracy and the world's largest middle class, and chronic diseases are now a big factor in India. Back in 1970, it was all infectious diseases, but the infectious diseases still are problematic. And the tuberculosis campaign is most laudable. The efforts are proving to be effective, and we're counting on India leading the way for other countries.
Okay, we have started, as you're probably aware, sir, the largest health insurance or public health insurance scheme in the world. We call it the Jan Arogya Yojana. It translates, as the People's Safety Scheme. Providing such kind of initiatives, how important will they be to universalize healthcare in a country that is still not being able to do it at a rapid enough pace?
Well, we don't have universal health care here in the United States, and I think it's a shame. We certainly have the resources, and we don't have the political cooperation. India has faced more severe challenges in terms of the magnitude of the problem, but I think India has been largely effective. And I think this is where your political parties work together. It may not seem that it's always smooth, but compared to other countries, I think India has a good track record.
Okay, we've long argued that we have a good scientific tradition in India. We have some fine minds. If given the best of opportunity and the best of resources, they could go a long way in the scientific community. Have you come across in your long and illustrious career interesting individuals of Indian origin who have made notable contributions, whom you have respect for?
Oh, absolutely. One of my closest friends, Narendra Mohandas, from Hyderabad, India, he came to the United States 55 years ago and did a PhD at Washington University. He has been a pioneer in the study of red cell membranes, and it's largely Mohan and his team that got me interested in studying red cells and that brought us into the malaria field. He's now a very distinguished scientist after a long career at University of California, Berkeley. He's the director of the New York Blood Center. He's also the godfather of my youngest child. Carly refers to Mohan as her Hindu godfather. She's very proud of him. And his family is remarkable. Joseph, his wife, had a distinguished career as a surgical pathologist, and his daughter Anu is a pediatrician at Harvard, and his son Gautam is a faculty member at the University of Michigan. They've contributed so much, and it's been an inspiration to me.
It's absolutely fascinating. What can we do better, sir, in this association that seems to be developing between India and America, which is being now seen as a pivotal relationship for the course of the next century when it comes to the field of science and healthcare, sir?
Well, I think the investment in science in India has been very effective. The Indian Institutes of Technology are world-renowned, and you've also been a generous source of young scientists who come to the United States and other countries for their scientific training. Many will return to India. Some will stay here in the United States. But I think there's been an increase in the interactions, and now with electronic communications, laboratories can work around the world and remain in touch.
Okay, before I let you go, Dr. Agre, how was your interaction with Prime Minister Modi? I mean, an effort was made to reach out to people from the scientific community as yourself. Did it seem as genuine, and did he take your ideas on board?
Well, it was a rather short meeting. It was a very cordial time to acknowledge the importance of both of our countries and the dependence of them. It was not an in-depth meeting with a lot of back and forth. And we talked probably for half an hour or 40 minutes and covered quite a few things. So it was a meeting of the interested parties, and it was very friendly. It did not change the course of science.
Well,
it was not possible.
We look forward, sir, to more opportunities, and at least gave us a reason to have this conversation with you, and hopefully percolate that through many people who are watching the broadcast as we speak. Dr. Peter Agre, thank you very much. For people watching the broadcast, of course, he has won the Nobel Prize for working on cell membranes, and particularly water channel proteins. I wish I could understand it as well as I pretend to. Thank you very much, Dr. Agre.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.